Hello, everyone. So, today I wanted to give some light onto the subject of moksha. Moksha houses pertaining to specifically Vedic astrology. Because, spark just come in and just they just make sense that like everything that you learn little by little don't make sense, but sometimes you're just sitting down in your office, sitting down on a toilet, sitting taking a shower, and suddenly everything just clicks and like, okay, now I get it. Um, Today you can say it's one of those days, and it's for me. You know, it's for me to understand this entire the blocks that have built this building for me. Because moksha houses in Vedic astrology are 12th house, 4th house, and the 8th house. And out of these three, we are always dreading the 12th and 8th house. 12th house is naturally known as the house of loss. 8th house is known as the house of death. While moksha house of the 4th is known as the house of happiness, comforts. But it is very important to know why great rishis assigned something called moksha houses. What was their purpose? So why would they say, that these three houses are the houses of liberation, houses of moksha? Did they want people to suffer? That hey, these are moksha houses, stay away from them. These are the houses you need to fear. Or was there a much more divine purpose for a rishi who was pretty much a guru to the entire society or country, even to help them to realize a better you, a better version of you? Because here's the thing, 12th house is known as a house of moksha, it's a house of loss, right? It's a house of isolation, confined space, but it's a house of sleep, bed pleasure. And if you know from your regular biology classes, day to day conversations, the information you even hear on the media, is that one needs sleep to be a functioning, good, productive human. Okay? And if you do not have the 12th house of sleep, how are you going to sleep? How are you going to rest that body, physical body? The 12th house is not the loss of the ascendant. 12th house doesn't say this is the loss of your physical body. It means it's a rejuvenation of your physical body. Because when you're asleep, what are you? Okay? What are three things that are happening with sleep? Simple things, sleeping. What is the simple thing that is happening? 12th house, you're sleeping, which is a form of bed pleasure. Mostly we think of bed pleasure as a sexual pleasure, but sleep is a pleasure. Number four, the 4th house is a house of moksha. Where are you sleeping? Are you sleeping on the street? Are you sleeping in the mall? Or at least majority of the people? Or are you sleeping in a comfort of your home? Comfort of your room, comfort of your bed. 4th house is comfort. It's comforting of the sleep state. It's comforting of the sleep state. Then comes the 8th house. What is the 8th house? Eighth house is the transformation. You are transforming. For that temporary period while you're alive, you go from a live state to a semi moksha state. The deep sleep, where you do not know if you're a man, a woman, a male, a female, father, husband, a wife. You have no clue who you are in that physical identity. So that eighth house says this house that you dread is actually the most pleasurable house, because especially in deep sleep, internal organs get relaxed. In deep sleep, the internal organs, whether it's your heart, your lungs, are at rest. Whether it's for 30-second deep sleep, whether it's for 2-minute deep sleep. Maximum, I think, is 2 to 4 minutes of deep sleep. And eighth house is naturally the house of transformation. It is transforming you to become alive again. Because what's going to happen when the sun rises? You're going to wake up. So the 12th house, 4th house, 8th house are a must. It is the most vital houses for your first house. Your first house cannot keep going without the 12th, 4th, and 8th house. And this is a very important concept to understand. Because the rishis, when they assign these houses, what they're trying to tell you, that when a loss occurs to you, that means that particular karma that you were supposed to experience, you no longer have to experience. It's gone back in the storage. That's what moksha houses means. It's the house of peace. Like if you look at the 4th house, okay, let's just do the opposites. Start with the 12th house. 12th house is the house of moksha, sleep. It's a house of exit from the physical realm. What is opposite to the 12th house? Facing obstacles, enemies, debts, prarabdha karma. 6th house is actually the most malefic house, if you ask me, in an astrological sense. When you're dealing with these things, what do you want to do? Look to the opposite side. You want to escape all these things. Who helps you escape all these things? Not the 5th house, not the 7th house, not the 9th house or 10th house. It's the 12th house. Here's the problem. Directly opposite to it is the solution. You look at the 4th house. What is directly opposite to 4th house? The 10th house. What do you do at the 10th house? You work. You work. You have to perform your karma. You're out in the world, whether you're thriving, struggling, getting defamed, getting fame. Directly opposite to it is the 4th house of not having any karma, not having to deal with fame, not having to deal with society, being in the womb. Whether that womb is the mother's womb, your home, your bed, or your grave. It's a place of rest. It's a place of what? Retirement. What do you do when you retire? You go into the 4th house. You're staying home. You're at peace. You no longer have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to catch that bus so you can make it to your job in 2-hour transit. At the 2nd house. 2nd house is a house of family responsibilities, earning money. It's a house of finding food. You have to find food in order to sustain this body. What is directly opposite to the 2nd house? It is an actual house of death. Ending of needing food, needing to sustain yourself, needing sustenance, needing wealth. So once you look at the opposite of each house, 12th, 4th, and 8th house actually become the house that give you peace. They are the houses that give you peace. A lot of people are thinking, well, my 8th house dasha is going to start, my 12th house time period is going to start, my 4th house time period is going to start. What's going to happen to my career? What's going to happen to my income? Well, the rishis are trying to tell you, when you go through the periods of the 12th, 4th, and 8th house, take a breather, a rest. It's time for you to rest. We are giving you rest. Perhaps you did some good karma in your life for you to experience these houses. Because you got to understand one thing: death is it's a continuation of life. Think of you, me, everybody else on a train. We're holding on to the guardrail. Okay? We're going. Aunts come in the train. Uncles come in the train, cousins come in. Then boyfriend comes in, girlfriend comes in. They break up, their station comes in, they leave. Spouse comes in. Then with spouse, your children come in the train. Now you're dealing with them. Then one of their time, your spouse's time comes, they leave, whether it's through a divorce or being widowed. You exit, the door opens, that's like, okay, thanks for the ride. See you. Who is in the train the entire time? It's you. Either you're getting off of someone else's train, or someone else is getting off of your train or coming in your train. So once you realize this concept that, okay, well, everybody that I knew has gone off the train and my train is not continuing, now I have to switch a train, which is continuation, the transformation that is happening of death to rebirth. And the transition from birth to death to rebirth is that moksha house, is where you get to finally rest. You have dealt with all these passengers in your life. You have dealt with their pain, happiness, the agony, the depression through them. Finally, you're off the train. You can finally take a glass of tea, drink it, get a glass of water, drink it, and just relax. Like, oh, boy, that was one hell of a train. But in order for you to be able to do that, to take a rest, go in a very heavy train or bus tomorrow. Stay there for 2 hours amongst people and their sweat and their yelling and whatnot. See how badly you want to get off that train. And what helps you get off the train? It is the 12th house. It is the 4th house. It is the 8th house. Without them, life is going to be a continuous mess, never ending mess. Then we go to a next level of moksha. If 12th, 4th, 8th house are the houses of moksha, such houses from any planet will represent the resting place of that activity, the peace from that activity. So let's say, for example, Venus. Everybody wants Venus. Shukra, love, romance, marriage. Okay? And we are only stuck in this thing because we're supposed to be performing this karma of Venus now. I have to get married, I have to continue the human lineage. By meeting someone, then I have to deal with the pain after I meet this person. But anytime you find a planet 4th from Venus, 8th from Venus, or 12th from Venus, or all of them being occupied from Venus, you have a great chance of finding liberation and moksha of Venus through those planets. And that is not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. So when you find let's say a malefic planet, a tamasic energy. See, look at planetary energy in the gunas: tamas, rajas, sattva. Okay, whenever a tamas energy comes forth from, let's say, Venus, it's helping you to find moksha from that thing through transformation of pain. That's the only difference. It's like you have to go from your boxcar to the platform, but the door has fire around it. This is your only chance. You're gonna have to go. You go, but you feel the heat. If you have a Rajas planet like Mercury and Venus, or actually, let's say, for Venus, Mercury, Venus won't make that sense, but for any planet, let's say Mercury, Venus are fourth from any planet, then there's going to be candies given to you, some samosas given to you before you exit. If you find a sattvic planet like Jupiter, Sun, Moon, they're going to bless you before you exit. But now look what I just said. Venus doesn't have that luxury of getting a candy. Either it's going to exit pain or through blessing. So you have to see every single thing in a chart from this perspective of moksha. And fourth house in astrology is actually one of the most important pillars of your life. It's a more of an important pillar than the 10th house of career, because fourth house is the house of your mother. Without mother, you don't exist. The fourth house represents the storage that you have, that you came here for. It has all the storage. So what happens when a malefic planet, let's say Saturn, is fourth from Venus? You are going to be much strongly devoted to finding Venus. Listen carefully. When you have Venus, which is all about love and relationship, and more than half the people are only looking for astrology for that part, and especially when they have moksha planet, like let's say Saturn in 4th, 8th, or 12th from Venus, one's gonna be even more fully concentrated. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Because this is something from this plane, this physical plane. And rishis are saying, look, there's something much higher you're missing, okay, which is the 4th, 12th, and 8th house. You're missing that part. Why are you stuck on these things? Because these planets are saying that through pain you have to find your liberation. So moksha triangles are not just houses 12th, 4th, or 8th. It is any house from any planet, any house itself, that becomes the peace, the house that gives you peace with the things that you are always looking for, which gives you pain. When you don't have a relationship, you're single. Oh my God, I have no relationship. I have no love. Why don't I have love? Why don't I have a relationship? When you have love, oh my God, how come they don't love me? When you have love, okay, how come they're not wanting to marry me? It's a never-ending pain. And that's with any planet. You take Sun, how come I don't have prestige? How come I'm not in an authoritative position? How come I'm not a leader? There's pain with every planet. But the moksha house from that planet is where you truly find the peace of that planet. So, knowing this, I personally feel that when someone says, what do I do for finding peace in my life? Well, you do the activities of the 12th, 4th, and 8th. depending upon your ascendant or the planets sitting in the 12th, 4th, or 8th. If you do the activities of those planets, of those house lords, that's where you find peace. For some, it could be relationship, marriage. For some, it could be public service. For some, it could be nonprofit service. For some, it could be religious service. Once you do that service, find peace. So, when you're going to go to bed today, you got to thank all these three houses: 12th house, 4th house, 8th house. All these are vital when you're sleeping. If you're not rejuvenated, transformed, you're still going to be tired. If you're not in a comfortable place, you're still going to be tired. And obviously, if you can't sleep, you're going to be tired and you may even die. Okay? So I want you guys to reflect on what I just said here. There's a lot more to this, and I don't think I have enough time to go into it even more, but I may do it this as a second part. But there's a lot more to these moksha houses, which are, remember, not dreadful houses. These are the houses of peace. Okay, so hope this has given you some peace with these houses, because you gotta literally, if you're gonna look for astrology to give you answers, then you've got to come to the level of astrology first before you can understand the answer. And that's the problem with everybody. They all want answers, but they want answers below the level of the understanding of astrology. If you want answers from astrology, raise your consciousness and your understanding of life to this level, and when it feeds you the answer, you will see everything written. Because if you're below the level of understanding of this divine astrology, you'll be seeing the answer up here, and half the letters are going to be seen, half the letters are not going to be seen, and you're going to make a mess of what you're reading. Come to the level of the mountain, then read, and then view the world. So astrology, before you seek any answers from astrology, raise yourself to the level of astrology, which is not a lower level, it's a much, much higher level. Especially with Vedic astrology, it wants you to get the answer so you can help yourself to liberate. Go to that 12th house and 4th house and 8th house. Okay. So anyway, guys, wanted to share this thought, and usually I like to share these thoughts because I don't want to forget these thoughts. I don't want to forget these things that I'm constantly working on in my head. So at least I can refer back now, maybe some other day. Oh yeah, I was talking about moksha. What was that? Oh, this is what I was doing. Okay, now let me add some more. That's why I always make these videos, because it's not just to tell you guys, it's just to always remind myself. Perhaps when I change this train that I'm in to the next train, and I'm going in that next train, hopefully I may come across teachings of my older self to guide me to a much better place. That's why I actually really like making videos, and I opened up my school, because one day I might be studying in my own school as a fresh student, and I'm like, oh, this was opened up 60 years ago. Okay, well, let me understand astrology from this person. I don't know who this guy is, Kapil Raj. Okay, whatever. Let me just watch it. You see, that's the beauty of life. And that's something you also have to understand, that the people who get off of the train station and get back in the train station, the lady who got off, who was your wife, now is getting in this train station as your boyfriend, is now getting in the train station as your father. And then again, without having any conscious of your previous ride with them, you again ride the train. And it keeps on going until you realize that, okay, maybe I do not want to get back on the train. Maybe it's time for me to stop and go to some other place that I'm supposed to go. That's the unconscious part of humans. You keep repeating that same train over and over, Well, you are always ending up at the destination, but you get back on. Why? Because you're not aware that, oh, this is my destination, I need to leave now. I should not be getting back on the train. And obviously, that awareness is like that, coming to the level of astrology and understanding it. Once you understand it at this level, then you're like, oh my God, I was at my destination the whole time. These past 8,000 lives that I have lived, oh God, I feel so stupid. And the one who tells you, the conductor, like, this is your stop, that's the guru. That's the guru in the train. This is why conductor knows everything about the city, everything about the train, where it's going, where it's stopping. So conductor does, he comes in the train to help certain people who are looking for answers. Like, okay, so why am I on this train always? And the conductor, his process or her process, tells you, well, every single time you're getting on this train and you get off, that's your destination. So I don't know why you're back in this train. No, that's your destination. Now you move forward. Go to the other thing. Now you're supposed to take a flight somewhere. Or now you're supposed to, take a rocket somewhere. This is your station. Don't get back on this mess. And this, to exit this mess, 12th, 4th, and 8th house. These are the houses that you should be focusing on more than any. But of course, if you're in your 20s, you're not going to think about this. Perhaps in your 30s, you may not think about this. In your 40s, 50s, hopefully it'll start to make sense. 60s, hopefully it'll start to make sense. My whole thing is, don't get back on this train, because your destination is that resting spot that you drink your beer, your coffee, your tea, and then you're coming back on the train again. Oh, my train came. It's like somebody with Alzheimer's, just not knowing where they're going, what they're repeating the same thing. Like that movie. Oh my God! See, even I can't remember this movie, Memento. You know that movie Memento? He keeps doing the same thing over and over again. He doesn't know if he has done it or not. That's actually what exactly life is. You're always doing the same thing over and over again, whether it's in this life, next train, next train, next train, next bodysuit, next bodysuit. While the guru helps you to rewire your brain so you understand, I've already done this 1,000 times. Why am I coming to do the exact same thing for the 1,000th time? What is wrong with me? So obviously everybody has problems right now. Whoever is like alive, walking and talking and trying to accomplish goals, there's something wrong with all of us. And we need to realize that we are in this Alzheimer's state. And we need to get out of it, and we need to thank the guru. Oh, thank you, conductor, for showing me this is my spot. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this Conductor in Training. Bye-bye.